Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, now Vice President Kamala Harris's official VP pick, arriving in Philadelphia to appear at the vice president's rally this evening. This ahead of their debut rally. Senator J.D. Vance was also campaigning in that same vicinity. Joining us now live is NTD's White House correspondent Iris Tao, who is at Harris's event. Good evening, Iris. So what's the latest there on the ground?
Good evening to you, Steve. So right now we're waiting for Vice President Kamala Harris and her new running mate, Governor Tim Walz, to give a speech right here addressing all their supporters at Temple University in Philadelphia. And the crowd here is very excited. They're filling up this 10,000-seat stadium. And most of them were telling me how they were very excited about her new VP pick. And some of the key words I've been hearing from her supporters about her choice is that they think Walz is very down to earth. They like the fact that he was a teacher, a former coach, and how he connects to the working class. We know that Vice President Kamala Harris and President Biden today, when praising him, mentioned how he has connections with the working class. And here's a video of Governor Tim Walz's new campaign ad talking about his roots. Watch.
Let's do this together. Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President.
The joy that you're bringing back to the country, the enthusiasm that's out there, it'll be a privilege to take this with you across the country.
And tonight will be the first time that Harris and Governor Tim Walz make a joint appearance as a new ticket. Now, we have heard Harris praising also his record on supporting abortion measures as well as gun control policies. And tonight we do expect to hear more about that. Meanwhile, here's a video of Vice President Harris today making that call to Governor Walz about her decision. Watch.
Sometimes life is as much about the lessons you learn as the lessons you teach. When I grew up, community was a way of life. My high school class was 24 people. I was related to half of them. I learned to be generous towards my neighbors, compromise without compromising my values, and work for the common good.
Iris?
Meanwhile, Senator J.D. Vance today was also campaigning in Philadelphia earlier today, just right before tonight's event. And I asked him what his strategy is in going to every single one battleground state that Harris will be visiting this week. And also I asked him what his message would be to voters in these swing states that would like to see less division in our nation. Watch.
My message to voters who want to see less division, look, I want to see less division as well, but division starts at the top. And you saw Donald Trump, who took a bullet 2 weeks ago and called for national calm and unity. That is the kind of unifying message that we need in this country. So I'm going to go to every single battleground state that I can. I'm going to answer tough questions. I'm going to talk to people.
And Harris's campaign told me that she's already here at this venue, so we do expect this campaign speech to start anytime soon. And meanwhile, we also know that this will only be the first stop in their swing through a 7 battleground state tour this week, so a lot to watch for as we wait for more news from the campaign. Back to you.
NTD's White House correspondent Iris Tao reporting live from Philadelphia. Thank you, Iris. And Vice President Kamala Harris is in Philadelphia this evening, as we just saw, holding her first rally with her newly announced running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. It's the hometown of Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro, who was reportedly the frontrunner for the VP pick just as of yesterday. Joining me now to discuss what Harris's choice means for the Democratic Party in the election is former Georgia Congressman Doug Collins. Congressman, thank you so much for joining.
It's always good to be with you.
Congressman, great to have you back. So, breaking news, obviously, today, Vice President and presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris has chosen Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to be her running mate. How do you think this choice will help her support in those key battleground Midwestern states? And was this move ultimately influenced by Trump's selection of another Midwesterner in J.D. Vance?
You know, I think this was a selection that's based on Kamala Harris's own basic comfort level. I think she was not comfortable with Josh Shapiro or others, mainly because he would have upset the very much pro-Hamas base of the Democratic Party, the side of the Democratic Party that still has ties to Israel, which her base would not really support. Also, I believe there was a discussion of Harris's inability to campaign as well as, say, a Shapiro or others. Walz is a folksy guy, served with him in Congress. He'll give the plain-spoken kind of rhetoric, but she went to another liberal that's as liberal as herself in a blue state. I think that was really a telling move here. And for all the hometown values, small town values, there's things like an open border, giving driver's license to illegals, putting feminine products in male bathrooms. These are the kind of things that don't sit real well in many battleground states such as Georgia, North Carolina, and other places.
Congressman, if you could, talk to us about the importance of Pennsylvania. Obviously, Harris and Walz, ironically, holding their first rally there in Philadelphia, which is also the home state of the incumbent governor, Josh Shapiro, he's expected to attend, frontrunner up until today, to be that VP choice. How will this, I guess, move maybe demonstrate unity to their party and undecided and independent voters? But at the same time, could Harris risk losing support from Pennsylvania voters by not choosing Governor Shapiro?
She could. I think it's very likely. But I think here's the difference, and I've heard this said a lot of times, though. Today was a day in which you found out who Vice President Harris was listening to. Was she listening to the political folks who actually helped win and run and win campaigns, or was she listening to the base of her party, which she has been pandering to for a number of years? Both Biden and Harris have as well. And the answer came real clear. It came that she was going to pander to the base, and she was going to make this about a left-wing election using a very unknown Minnesota governor who has a lot of political baggage that's going to come out over the next little bit. Over 70% of the country have no idea who Tim Walz is. The issue here is can Pennsylvania be put into play, which I think it will be. Josh Shapiro is probably going to be there tonight. He'll probably say the right things, but this has to be a blow for him, has to be a blow for some in Pennsylvania who thought this could maybe put this race on the map a little bit in Pennsylvania. So it's just, really give this race till about the 1st of September after you get through what has become almost a month-long Democratic National Convention by proxy because of what's happened with the ouster of Joe Biden and now with Vice President Harris. And then we'll see where this settles out at the 1st of September.
Congressman Walz was also the governor there in Minnesota during the George Floyd BLM riots. There was criticism of how that was handled with all of the unrest. Himself reportedly acknowledging failures in the response. How might those events impact him on the ticket?
They're going to be huge. The immigration, look, the questions here is the issues have not changed. Immigration is still out of control at the border. He is an open border governor in Minnesota who believes that he should give driver's license to illegals, who should make payments to illegals. This is a person who is fully in line with the open border concept of Vice President Harris. So again, that's going to be a problem that then blows back into the BLM riots in 2020, in which, now there's surfacing, reports of his wife and others. We saw he didn't do anything when Minneapolis was burning. And there's just so many things that are wrong there. When those are going to be vivid images placed in the last, 90, 60 days, 30 days of this campaign, do you want a ticket that supports an open border and supports unlawlessness and rioting in our country? It's a pretty shocking move, to be honest.
Former Georgia Congressman Doug Collins, thank you for joining us.
It's always good to be with you, Steve. Take care.
Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.